This is AT. Today, something, a bit different, but it does relate to boxing, strength, and, life in general. These here are the Righteous Brothers, specifically Bobby Hatfield and Bill Medley. They were originators of what was termed blue-eyed soul music. That was during the mid-1960s. Bill and Bobby's albums usually featured a single by each vocalist, and the fans knew that while together they created perfect harmony. Each could perform, vocal magic by themselves. A classic example is Unchained Melody, released I think in 1965. It was the B-side of a record meant to feature another song. I think it was Hung on You. Odds are you've heard it many times. It's an old song. It's been performed by many people, but Hatfield's version was in the movie Ghost, and it is the sine qua non of nobody did it better than Bobby Hatfield. This short clip is considered by many to be an example of the finest single vocal performance ever. It was done on TV. I think it was the Andy Williams Show, and I believe the year was 1965. Pay close attention to the reaction of people hearing this version for the first time. Here it is. It's Bobby Hatfield of the Righteous Brothers singing Unchained Melody. Keep in mind, this was done live and without any auto-tune or post-production. The reaction videos that you saw in those little squares are typical of the hundreds available on YouTube and elsewhere, and they offer a lesson to those following boxing and strength history. The point is this: the blue-eyed soul singers, Hatfield and Medley, are Caucasian. They're white, while those applauding them are black. And that applause is genuine, praising and joyful over a near-perfect performance in a genre, soul music, that has been exclusively African-American. Some of you will maintain that music has no color. In fact, at least E.T. believes it does, in a sense. And thus, the welcoming, joyful welcoming that you saw in those videos of these blue-eyed soul performers is even more significant. It said, "Welcome to our house, brothers. You have earned a seat among us." Keep that in mind as you consider the following. This is Larry Holmes, who in September of 1985 was about to commit a crime, at least in the minds of many people. And that super felony was this: Holmes was about to tie the undefeated 49-0 record wins for a champion of the great Rocky Marciano. As things turned out, Michael Spinks, former light heavyweight champion, got the decision and Holmes' WBA title. So Rocky Marciano's unequaled record remained intact, at least among heavyweight champions, and Holmes was immediately mocked and harassed for even attempting to challenge it. And Larry exploded with some unnecessary and stupid rejoinders of his own, for which he's apologized. Here are E.T.'s observations. Larry Holmes was one of the best heavyweight champions of his day. He fought top opposition, including Oh, let me think. Kenny Norton, Mike Weaver, the great puncher, Ernie Shavers, Scott Ledoux. He fought and beat Muhammad Ali, although, we're not going to count that one. Ali was over the hill. Who else? Trevor Berbick, the great puncher, Jerry Cooney, Tim Witherspoon. The list goes on. And Larry was undefeated for all of his 48 bouts. And he deserved much better from sports commentators, from journalists, and from fans. Although eventually he would be inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame, it was, in my opinion, too late. Did not Larry Holmes deserve acceptance as that accorded to the Righteous Brothers in a different entertainment world for having proven himself with raw talent and hard work? We all have our favorites, and often our favorites are predicated on race, ethnicity, country, neighborhood, whatever. And that in itself is not a bad thing, assuming that we are 100% fair in recognizing and showing respect for anybody who's earned a top spot, proved himself, in this case, as a fighter. And the great Larry Holmes definitely does, in my opinion, as does, say, Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, granted, he can be irritating, and maybe he should have gotten a draw against Manny Pacquiao, okay. But overall, he has shown unequaled fluidity in the ring. Another barely recognized great was former heavyweight champion Vitaly Klitschko, who, by the way, is currently mayor of Kiev, or Kiev, however you want to pronounce it. He's the brother of Vladimir Klitschko. Vitaly, despite 2 losses, was never actually beaten. He was ahead in both of those losses. He had to pull out of the first one against Chris Bird because of a badly injured shoulder. And they stopped the fight with Lennox Lewis. Even though Vitaly was ahead, well, they had to stop it because of eye cuts. I cannot remember a round that Vitaly Klitschko lost, but he never got recognition from Americans generally and the African American community specifically. Now, E.T. could go on with more fighters who never got their due recognition because of race, ethnicity, or whatever factor. But I think you get the point by now. Type in your comments below. Subscribe to this channel if you have not done so. You see the bell icon. Tap that. You'll be notified of new uploads. And if you can, pass links to these videos onto other social media. Thank you.